Life for the ancient Maya was deeply fascinating, spiritually rich, and intellectually advanced. Yet beneath this brilliance lay a reality that was often harsh, exhausting, and unforgiving. While their cities rose magnificently from the jungles of Mesoamerica, daily life for most Maya people was shaped by struggle, fear of the gods, relentless labor, and a constant battle against nature itself. This contrast between beauty and brutality makes their story both mesmerizing and sobering, especially when viewed through the quiet, reflective lens of boring history for sleep. From the moment a Maya child was born, life was already marked by difficulty. Infant mortality was high, and many children did not survive their early years due to disease, malnutrition, or lack of medical knowledge. Mothers gave birth without modern tools, often assisted only by other women in the household. There were no hospitals, no pain relief, and no understanding of infection. Survival itself was considered a blessing from the gods, and every healthy child was seen as proof of divine favor. As children grew, comfort remained a luxury few experienced. Maya homes were small, simple structures made of wood, mud, and thatched roofs. They offered little protection from heat, heavy rains, insects, or wild animals. There were no soft beds. Families slept on mats or directly on the floor. Smoke from indoor cooking fires filled the air, irritating eyes and lungs. Clean water was not always available, and daily hygiene was basic at best, allowing illnesses to spread easily. Food, though central to Maya culture, was another source of hardship. The Maya relied heavily on maize, which formed the foundation of nearly every meal. While maize was nutritious, the lack of dietary variety for common people often led to deficiencies. Meat was rare for peasants and usually reserved for elites or special ceremonies. Farming was physically demanding, done entirely by hand, without metal tools or animals like horses or oxen. Men spent long days clearing forests, planting crops, and maintaining fields under the burning sun, never certain whether the harvest would be enough. Nature was both a provider and a cruel enemy. Droughts could last for years, destroying crops and leading to famine. Hurricanes and floods could wipe out entire villages. The Maya had no way to control the weather, so they turned to the gods, believing every natural disaster was a sign of divine anger. This belief added a heavy psychological burden to everyday life. Fear of offending the gods influenced nearly every decision, from farming practices to personal behavior. Religion, while offering meaning, was also one of the most brutal aspects of Maya life. The gods were believed to be demanding and often cruel, requiring blood to maintain balance in the universe. Bloodletting rituals were common, even among ordinary people. Using sharp obsidian blades or stingray spines, individuals would pierce their tongues, ears, or genitals as offerings. These acts were painful, dangerous, and sometimes deadly, yet they were performed willingly out of fear and devotion. Human sacrifice, though not as constant as popular myths suggest, was very real and terrifying. Prisoners of war, slaves, or chosen individuals could be offered to the gods during important ceremonies. Victims might be beheaded, have their hearts removed, or be thrown into sacred notes. For the Maya, these deaths were not seen as murder, but as necessary acts to prevent cosmic chaos. Still, living in a society where such rituals existed meant that fear was never far away. Warfare added another layer of brutality. Maya city-states were often in conflict with one another, fighting over land, resources, and power. Battles were violent and personal, fought with spears, clubs, and obsidian blades. Being captured was often worse than dying in battle, as prisoners faced torture, enslavement, or sacrifice. Villages could be attacked without warning, forcing families to flee or face destruction. Social inequality further defined the harshness of life. While kings and nobles lived in stone palaces, wore elaborate clothing, and enjoyed rich foods, the majority of people lived in poverty. Peasants paid heavy tribute in the form of crops, labor, and goods. They worked not only their own fields, but also those of the elite, leaving little time for rest. Disobedience or failure to meet demands could result in severe punishment. Even death offered no true escape from hardship. Burial practices varied by class, and many common people were buried simply beneath their homes. wrapped in cloth with few offerings. The afterlife was not universally seen as peaceful. For most Maya, the underworld, Xibalba, was a dark and dangerous place filled with trials. Only those who died in specific ways, such as in childbirth or sacrifice, were believed to reach a more pleasant afterlife. Despite all this, the Maya endured. They built cities aligned with the stars, developed complex calendars, and created breathtaking art and architecture. Their resilience is what makes their suffering even more striking. Life was brutal, not because they were uncivilized, but because survival demanded constant sacrifice, physical endurance, and spiritual submission. As the jungle slowly reclaimed their great cities and their civilization declined, it was not just due to mystery or sudden collapse, but the accumulated weight of drought, war, overwork, and relentless belief. The ancient Maya lived beautiful lives shaped by knowledge and faith, yet those lives were carved through pain, fear, and struggle. In the quiet stillness of history, their story reminds us that greatness often comes at a heavy human cost, a thought that gently drifts through the mind as sleep slowly arrives.